Everyone tells you to budget, but what if that advice is actually holding you back? It's time to challenge conventional wisdom and explore a powerful alternative. Get ready to uncover the secret to lasting financial freedom, not through strict rules, but through a deeper understanding of your spending habits and desires. Let's get real. Traditional budgeting often fails us. Why? Because it's rigid, guilt-inducing, and, let's be honest, just plain unsustainable for most people. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself you'd stick to a spreadsheet or an app only to feel deprived and deflated a week later? According to a 2023 Lending Club survey, 65% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and yet millions have tried budgeting apps like Mint or YNAB. If budgeting worked as advertised, shouldn't those numbers be dropping? Instead, most people give up after a few weeks. Why? Because budgeting can feel like a straitjacket, squeezing the joy out of your financial life.
It means wealthy people don't sit there stressing over every single dollar they spend each day. They don't treat money like something they have to guard all the time. Instead, they play a different game. They focus on the big picture. Rather than writing down every little expense, they think carefully about where their money goes and whether it actually improves their life, happiness, or long-term wealth. This approach is called mindful spending, being intentional with money, not obsessive. Take a moment to stop and ask yourself, what's really important to me in life? Not just things like fancy cars or expensive clothes, unless those honestly match what you care about most. Mindful spending means figuring out your core values, the things that guide you, like freedom, family, health, learning, creativity, or helping others. Once you know those values, you can spend your money in a way that supports them. That way, every dollar you spend feels like it's going towards something meaningful that makes you truly happy instead of just buying random things. For example, if personal growth is your priority, maybe $200 a month on courses or books brings far more satisfaction than a random $200 gadget that gathers dust. If travel fuels your soul, then allocating $3,000 a year to experiences abroad could matter more than upgrading your car every 3 years. The idea is to pause and think about what's really important in your life, not fancy cars or luxury brands, but things that actually make you happy. A tool to help with this is called a joy audit. Here's how it works. Look back at the last 90 days of your spending. Mark the things you bought that truly gave you happiness, like having dinner with friends, taking an online course, or going on a small trip. Then circle the things you regret buying, like random Amazon items, unused subscriptions, or shopping sprees that didn't really matter later. Research shows that experiences, like travel, learning, or quality time, give us 3 times more lasting happiness than buying physical stuff. That's why rich people often spend money on things that match their values and lifestyle rather than just collecting more things. This process gives you clarity. Once you know what really brings you joy, you can make better money choices. This is the first step toward building wealth with intention. Now, let's talk mechanics. How do you actually practice mindful spending day to day? This is where the pause principle comes in. Before any purchase, big or small, pause. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. Does this align with my values? Will this bring lasting joy beyond today? And what's the opportunity cost if I say yes? Opportunity cost is just a fancy way of saying, if I spend money on one thing, what am I losing the chance to do with that money instead? For example, if you spend $50 on food delivery today, you're giving up the chance to put $50 toward a vacation you're saving for, or invest that $50 in a retirement account, a Roth IRA, where it could grow over time. And here's the crazy part. If that $50 grows at 7% per year for 30 years, it could become about $380. That's the power of compounding. Money earns money over time. Wealthy people understand this. They think of each dollar like a little worker. It can either work for them by investing or saving, or do nothing if it's wasted on things they don't really need. Now, tracking your spending is still important, but not to make you feel bad. Think of it like watching a replay of your game. You're studying where you're doing well with money and where it's slipping away. And here's a cool fact. A study by the National Endowment for Financial Education found that people who just track their spending, even without making a strict budget, save 23% more money. Why? Because once you see where your money's going, you naturally start making better choices. Okay, so mindful spending is the spending side. But what about saving and wealth building? Here's where the rich really set themselves apart. They don't just save, they automate. The wealthy automate three key categories: retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, or investment accounts, emergency fund, 3 to 6 months of living expenses tucked away, and investments, ETFs, index funds, real estate, or business ventures. First, the rich make sure all their important money goals, like savings, investments, and bills, are automatically handled. Once that's taken care of, they use the leftover money freely without guilt. This set-it-and-forget-it system saves them from having to constantly make tough money decisions and allows their wealth to grow quietly in the background. Second, wealthy people practice generosity. For example, in 2022, American households gave more than $319 billion to charities. For them, giving isn't only about being kind, it's also about living with an abundance mindset. Donating to causes, helping family, or supporting communities creates peace and reminds them that money is a tool to use, not something that controls them. And finally, let's talk about peace of mind. Constantly comparing yourself to others, your neighbor's car, your coworker's vacations, fuels financial anxiety. The rich know that peace of mind is priceless, so they build systems and mindsets to block out the noise. They don't chase every trend, they stay anchored to their intentional wealth journey. All right. So, how can you start building this today? Here's a 5-step action plan. Identify your top 3 values. Write them down. Freedom, family, travel, health, whatever lights you up. Do a joy audit. Review your last 90 days of spending and highlight the joyful versus regretful purchases. Apply the pause principle. Before buying, pause and ask if it aligns with your values. Automate core savings. Set up automatic transfers to retirement, emergency, and investment accounts. Weekly money check-in. Spend 15 minutes reviewing your finances, not to restrict, but to reflect. You don't have to be perfect with money. Buying something fun once in a while, even if it wasn't planned, doesn't mean you're bad with money. It just means you're human. The goal is to stay aware, not to punish yourself. As long as you notice your spending and make conscious choices most of the time, you're on the right track. Small good habits add up. Just like money in a savings account grows with interest, little smart money choices made consistently over time build your wealth. It's not just about money. It's about peace of mind. These habits give you less stress and more control over your life. Let me leave you with this. A few years ago, a Silicon Valley exec shared his financial philosophy. He said, "I don't budget. I just spend in line with my values. If it doesn't fit, I don't buy it. If it does, I spend without guilt." That exec had built a net worth north of $8 million. Not because he pinched pennies, but because he directed his dollars like soldiers toward his values and long-term goals. That's the hidden lesson. The rich don't budget, they master mindful spending. And now you have the blueprint to do the same. And thanks for watching this video.